I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting PEP Talks podcast.
Today's pep talk is about saying no to your kids. Parents often fall into one of two extremes. Either you say no to everything your kids ask for, or you find yourself having a really hard time saying no to anything, or making excuses, or just not really holding your ground when you tell your kids no. So I want to talk about both of these and some great ideas for saying no to your kids. And one of the things is that it's very important to tell your kids no, to set limits, to set boundaries, to make sure that there's structure, to make sure that there's order. Kids need to be told no by their parents when they're out of bounds or when they are doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So if you're one of those parents who says no to everything, what you want to do is learn to be a little bit more flexible. So if you found yourself saying no occasional or all the time, and then occasionally changing your mind because your child either has a good argument or after thinking about it, you realize it was something that you could have said yes to, what you're doing in that case is you're undermining your parental authority. So what you want to do is start taking your time before you say yes or no and deciding if what the child's asking for or what they want is something that you could give them. If you say no and then you change your mind and you say yes, then the child knows that they can talk you out of something or change your mind. And they also learn how long it takes to wear you down. So in that case, if a child asks you something and you need time to think about it, you want to say, I need a few minutes to think about this and decide whether that is a yes or a no. If your child pushes you, or when my children pushed me for an answer, I would usually say, if you need an answer right now, the answer is no. If you give me 10 minutes so I can think it through and decide if that's going to work or not, the answer could be yes or it could be no, but I need the time to think through. Now, if you're a parent who has a really hard time saying no to your kids, what you may find is that you often will try to get around saying no. So you might say, well, maybe, or how about later, or if you do this, then maybe that'll happen. And again, that's undermining your parental authority. So if your child asks for something that they really shouldn't have or need, or they don't need, just say no. And the best way to say it is in a plain tone of voice. You can say no. You can say, no, that doesn't work for me. You can say, no, I'm not willing to do that. And the best thing is to not have a lot of energy around it. So you don't want to do things like say, no, how dare you, or do you think I'm made of money, or with a complaining or some kind of an implication that what they're asking for is out of line. You just want to do it in a real regular tone of voice, and that'll make it so that they're much less likely to fight you on this. There's a lot more to be said about saying no to your kids, and I'll definitely talk in future parenting pep talks about saying no to your kids. But for this week, practice saying no in just a plain tone of voice without making a lot of excuses, without making a lot of explanations, to just say, no, that doesn't work for me, and to move on so that you can lessen some of the power struggles with your kids when you have to tell them no. And have a great day. Happy parenting.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Positive Parenting PEP Talks podcast. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Debbie Godfrey, owner and founder of positiveparenting.com. I hope you'll go and check out my website and follow me on Instagram and let me know about what you thought about today's episode. Did you learn something new? Were you able to do something different with your children? Did you have a success story? Those are my favorite to share. Let me know. Contact me. I'd love to hear from you. And also, what future topics would you be interested in hearing about on the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast? Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Take care and happy parenting.